Hi there, it's Carrie from Stamp with CT. It is Facebook Live Day. It's Wednesday. So I've been in my craft room most of the day, and I have to tell y'all, have not been super productive. Y'all ever have a day like that where you just think you're going to get all kinds of stuff done, and you don't? But I've had fun. I can't complain. I've had a good time. All right, I think I need to move down just a tiny skosh. All right. I've got kind of a hot mess going on over here. There we go. Sorry about that. Right. So if you're catching this part of the video, probably catching the replay, so sorry about that. But welcome on in. Glad you're here. I appreciate those that watch live and those that watch on the replay. Y'all are awesome. I just appreciate you so much. I've got a cool thing that I want to teach you guys today. Hopefully you don't know this. Hopefully you've never seen it before. It'd been a while since I had seen it, and it popped into my head the other night after I already designed the card for today. So I'm excited to show you two variations of the card for today. I think that's going to be fun. So I'll wait just a minute, see if anybody's able to join. If not, there's always the replay, which is awesome. So Oliver's with me here in the craft room. He's been kind of subdued today. He's tired. But we've had a good day. You know, we had a lot of rain through the night and this morning. And we have a garden this year. And I'll do a little chatting first while people hop in. We have a garden this year with a friend of mine from work, Maria. And we've had a lot of fun with that. And Dale harvested a lot of kale last night. So first thing I did this morning when I got up was made crispy kale. So if you've never made that, you can kind of roast the kale in the oven. You just spritz it with a little olive oil or avocado oil and sprinkle some flaky salt on and roast it in the oven. The recipe I had said 250 for about 20 minutes, but I found that I needed to leave them in for about 30 minutes. And I just did the big, huge leaves. And it is so delicious, y'all. It's so, so good. Something different. So I did that this morning. And then pretty much came back to my craft room. And like I said, just really have not been super productive. But I've had a good day, so I cannot complain. All right, let's go ahead and jump in. I will show you this is the project for today. I need a masculine card. One of my relatives has been diagnosed with a very difficult diagnosis. He's got a rough road ahead. And so I knew I wanted to make a card for him. And when I'm making masculine cards, what I tend to do is go for a neutral, you know, green, blue, gray, brown, something like that. I like a nice neutral, and I like to keep it as simple as possible. And so I decided to pull in the two-tone cardstock. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today. And we'll probably be talking about that for the next couple weeks, I think, because I have lots of different ways that you can use the two-tone cardstock. And I really have not taken the time to talk about that and teach you guys about that. So this was the original card I made, but this is not the card we're making today. We're making the next iteration of it, because like I said, I was laying in bed one night, should have been sleeping, but instead I'm thinking about card designs. Who else does that? Raise your hand. I know you're out there. You're my people. So anyway, I'm thinking about card designs, and I remembered a technique that I saw, but I can't remember who shared it to save my life, but it's really cool. You're gonna love it. So this is torn, which I love. It's a great technique. It shows the white core of this two-tone cardstock, but that's not exactly what we're gonna do. I'll show you in a minute. So we are using a stamp set that has retired, this Courage and Faith, but I went ahead and pulled it out because this is the message that I wanted, this verse, and so we're still going to go ahead and use it even though this is retired. I know several of you have this stamp set, and it is amazing. So when you're able to catch these types of stamp sets, I would say go ahead and grab it because they're not always available, but this is a really, really good one. There is another one. Let me see if I have it on my table over here still, because I grabbed another stamp set out to use. Oh, did I already put it away? Surely not. I've got such a disaster going on in here, y'all. No, I don't see it. And I can't, So Sincere, that's the name of it. We used it recently and it was on online exclusive, so you may still be able to pick that up. It's a beautiful set as well with lots of really nice sentiments inside. And then these are the Nested Essentials dies. Did I try to grab my stylish shapes and use them? Absolutely. But I thought, let's mix it up a little bit because these have some really cool rounded rectangles. And I don't know, that just seemed masculine to me today. So that's what I went with. And then we're going to be using Old Olive ink. There it is. I found it. And like I said, just one of the sentiments from that stamp set. So I just have a couple of colors of this two-tone cardstock right now in stock, but they make it in many of the colors, and eventually we'll have most all of the colors available in the two-tone cardstock. So this is a little bit thinner than our regular cardstock, but it's thicker than Designer Series paper. And so one side is very true to the color, and I thought I had pulled out, I know I did, let me find it. I pulled out a piece of Old Olive cardstock. Maybe I put it back away. That's what I get for trying to clean up a little bit before. Let me grab it right quick. I sure did. I put it away. So I don't have any pool party out, but I'll show you that Old Olive, the darker side is very true to color of our regular cardstock. You're not going to be able to tell as well on Pool Party, but Old Olive you will, that this side is much lighter. And there's some variation in the color too. It's really cool. And then like I said, it has a white core. So that really lends itself to being able to do some cool techniques. So when you tear the paper, you can see that white core. You can also, on your projects, you can just fold over an edge of it and show both sides. That's really cool. I can remember when we used to do that a lot when we had buttons, and we would put the button on there with some linen thread. Super cute. You can emboss this, dry embossing, which is awesome. And so I'm thinking that we may do that next week so I can kind of show you how this cardstock reacts when you do that, and some things that you can do to even step it up a little bit more. If I can, well, that's what we'll do next week. I will find what I need to do that. So, like I said, this is coming in more and more colors. It's great for scrapbooking. That's what we've pretty much used it for in the past. When we have done like a scrapbook layout for Finally Friday, we either use white or we use one of these colors so that everybody can have the same background, because you get 12 pieces of this 12 by 12 two-tone cardstock in a package. And like I said, it's lighter weight than regular cardstock. So when you're scrapbooking and memory keeping, that can be really nice because albums get super heavy. So if you use this for your background, that can lighten the book, which is awesome. It's very cool because, again, you can do different techniques, the tearing and stuff on your scrapbook layouts as well. Okay, let me go ahead and pull in the card that we're actually going to be creating. So, isn't that cool? You can see that I've cut these pieces, but how did I do that? Because they have kind of a rustic edge to them. And then I flipped every other one over. So pretty cool, right? And then I did the same thing with the piece on the inside. So when you have a 12 by 12 piece of this cardstock, when you cut it at 5 1/4 by 4, if you cut 4 and 4 and then 5 1/4 and 5 1/4, you're going to get 6 card fronts, but you're going to have that strip left over too. So you can use those for your inside panels. I'll go ahead and bring in my card base. I'm using Mossy Meadow, and I realized I didn't do the greatest job of scoring this, so I'm going to have to zhuzh it just a little bit. Sorry, keep turning it around. But it's not scored exactly right. Anybody else ever do that? Get off just a tiny bit? But you know what? You can come in with your bone folder, give it a good burnish, and when you use that as the back, the inside, your panel's going to cover that, so you're good. All good in the neighborhood. So what I'm going to need to do is show you this technique first, and I'm going to bring my trimmer in to do that. And this is one of the pieces that I had left over. I want to be able to do that same thing again and put that in here. So I think we'll bring it about 3/4 of an inch-ish. And I'm pulling my blades out of the way on my trimmer. So my scoring blade, my cutting blade, just going to push them up and out of the way. And then I'm going to bring in my Take Your Pick tool. Okay? Let me just make sure again that I have that where I want it. And I'm just going to put my Take Your Pick tool in the groove of the cutting mat. Oops, hold on. I just bent that paper. That's not good when you do that. Well, I say I am. There we go. And you're going to just come through with your piercing tool, and I know it sounds kind of rough, doesn't it? Because that's where you're getting that rustic look to it. I didn't do a great job, did I? Just have a little piece. That's okay. That's okay. We're going to use that for our inside panel. And I may go ahead and just glue that on now and get that out of the way. We'll put a little glue there. And I think I'll go with the, I'll go with the lighter side. I actually kind of put a lot of glue, didn't I? Yep, a little bit too much glue, y'all. I may need to do another little piece. We'll see. I think if I bring it down to the bottom, I'll be okay. It might be a tiny bit short. We're going to make it work. I may need to kind of clean my track out just a tiny bit. That seems better. Okay, so that's our inside panel. We'll set it aside. Now we'll put our actual piece of 5 1/4 by 4 in. And I'm going to come over to about 1/2 inch. It doesn't really matter. You can do it wherever you want to. I'm just going to bring that, Take Your Pick tool down and cut that. Then I'm going to come over to about 3/4. Again, this is our card. We can do it however we want to. And you do have to put a pretty good bit of pressure to get that to cut. And then I just want to keep my little pieces in order too. Let me make sure I'm doing that before I mess up. And this one will come right about there. Isn't that cool? And now, set this aside. We'll go ahead and glue our inside panel in. That should have had time to dry. And did I get it on my finger? Of course. A little bit of glue on your finger. Or on my thumb, rather. We'll get our inside panel lined up here. I don't think I cut the vanilla right, but we're going to, again, go with that too. I cut it at 5 1/2. Well, my card base is not right. We'll find out in just a second. No, my card base is right. I just didn't cut the vanilla just right. Telling you, it's not been a productive day, y'all. It's been kind of a weird day. I don't know why. Okay, so now we're going to take this piece and add it over here. And so I'm going to leave a little less of a border on the side than I normally would because I want a tiny bit of space. Yeah, something's wonky about that vanilla. Now it's sticking out the bottom. I'll fix that. Now you leave a little bit less of a border. Well, y'all try so hard. Oh. A little bit less of a border than normal so that I can space these other strips out. So now I've got my other pieces that I cut. I'm going to go ahead and flip this one over And we're going to use the lighter side. That'll be fun. And so you could do this with pretty much any color of the two-tone cardstock that we have. And really make any type of card that way. Just going to line that up so you can see I'm leaving a tiny bit of space. Tiny bit. Just got to zhuzh that a little bit more. But this gives you such a cool effect. I love this. Now this one we're going to go with the dark side up, the dark side. Going over to the dark side, y'all. And again, maybe just a tiny bit of room in between. And then the last one, we'll flip it over too. And I think that's like, I don't know, 5/8 of an inch. It's not a quarter, it's not a half. Oops. But again, you don't have to measure. They don't have to be the same. Just think about how much fun you can have with this. And can you do this with designer series paper? Absolutely. But I think this is just so cool with this two-tone cardstock. Space that out a tiny bit. Tiny bit. Okay, isn't that awesome? So again, this was really cool. I was happy with that. But this, I really loved the way it kind of stepped up the card. Okay, let's do a little bit of stamping. I'll bring in my very vanilla piece that I went ahead and cut with my stylish, no, not my stylish shape, my Nested Essential. And I've got Mossy Meadow, no, Old Olive Ink. Old Olive Ink today. And I found with this stamp that if I stamp upside down, because of the way that it's, just because of the way that it gives the verse at the bottom, I had more success turning it upside down and getting it straight. Because I've actually made several of these cards, y'all. Okay, let's see how we did. I think pretty good. Yep, pretty good. So beautiful verse from Psalm. And we're just going to glue this down onto our mat. And this is Mossy Meadow. I love the way that Mossy Meadow and Old Olive play together. They just look so good together. And that's what I grab a lot of times, like for leaves and foliage. I love the two combined. That's a little bit crooked, but we're going to go with it. Okay, so while that dries, I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of Stampin' Seal Plus at this edge where I want to add my linen thread. And we haven't tousled in a little while, y'all, so the way that I like to do this with linen thread is I just grab it between my thumb and finger, and I wrap it around my fingers with my fingers loosely. And how many times do I wrap it? I don't know, however many feels right, 5 or 6-ish. And then this makes a loop, and I like to bring it in like a figure 8. And I'm not super worried about keeping it perfect because I like that kind of rustic look for this card. And we're just going to kind of set that right into that adhesive. And then we can zhuzh it a little bit. Have some of that sticking out the side. I just want a little bit of texture. I didn't do exactly what I wanted to do, but I'm not going to mess with taking it off. Just going to kind of pull it out the side a little bit. Okay, so now we need our dimensionals. Now I'm going to use several since I do have this thread. I want to make sure that the sentiment stays down. So maybe a little more than what I would normally use. Maybe. Get those backings off. If I can get it, I may have to take those off and put them in the trash can. There we go. Had too many stacked up on there, didn't I? Alrighty. And we'll bring this in. Put our sentiment down. And you could probably add some type of gem. I know we have some neutral sequins, neutral dots. I just wanted to keep it simple. Seam straight. That's pretty good. Okay, y'all, so what do you think? I just love that technique. I think it is so cool. And like I said, this is really pretty. I like that too. It's another way to use that two-tone cardstock, but this just really made me happy. So I also wanted to tell you what I do when I have someone in my family, in my life, that is diagnosed with something that I know that they have a long road ahead. I like to go ahead and pull out some cards from my stash or make a stack of cards, and then I go ahead and I address, you know, 5 or 6 envelopes, and I have those cards at the ready with them addressed and, you know, the card right there with it, and then I write a quick note and can pop it in the mail right quick. And I just find by having those already addressed, it helps me remember to get a card in the mail to them. And we can make such a difference when we do something like that. That means a lot to people. It really does. Time and time again, I've been told how much it meant for, you know, to get a card in the mail, to know that someone was thinking about them and praying for them. So just a tip. You may do something like that too. If you have a tip of how you keep up with stuff like that, let us know. I would love to know that. And I do have a piece of happy mail that I want to share with you today. And so this is kind of along that same line. This was from Donna, my sweet friend. And, you know, recently we did have a loss in our family, and it's been a difficult time. And so I can tell you, it meant a lot to me to get the different cards that we've gotten. And I've shared, I think, all of them with you. But it just means so much to know that somebody was thinking of you. So thank you, Donna. I really appreciate that. It's beautiful. And then I want to share that we do have a new catalog coming, and it starts May the 6th. So we will be sending out catalogs this week, probably Saturday. So they should get to you prior to that. If you need a catalog, if you don't have a demonstrator that you purchase with, and you need a catalog, let me know. You can also join our team, and you can pre-order now. You don't have to wait until May the 6th. You can go ahead and get products in your hands by being a demonstrator, get your discount as well. And then we do have free shipping today, y'all. Today, tomorrow, and Friday. So today through the 25th of April, which is awesome because we have a lot of products on the last chance list, things that are discounted, things that, you know, may be gone soon. So you may want to stock up on white cardstock. If it's back in stock, it was out of stock. Envelopes, adhesive, things that we know we're going to use while we have that free shipping. That makes a big difference because, you know, shipping's like 11% now. So that's a good savings. Okay, guys, I appreciate y'all being here and hope you were inspired by this. Like I said, we'll show you some more techniques using two-tone cardstock in the next week or two. Talk to you soon.